Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode.
Hello.
Amanda wanted to chat about her nutrition program today. It's something we've touched on in various videos in the past. We'll probably touch on it again in future videos, but she's doing this for people who are just popping on or for people who might need a refresher on some of the nutritional changes that Amanda's made since her diagnosis in May of last year.
Yes. Well, my diet went from you know, 10-year-old at a birthday party to to the medical ketogenic diet, which is 75% fats, 20% protein, and then 5% carbohydrates. It's a little bit fluid. It's roughly those percentages, but I I really had terrible eating habits before all of this, and I now kind of there is I do think that I have a left parietal and left temporal is where my surgery was. And I actually asked ChatGPT this one time because I almost have no more hunger cues and I don't feel hungry ever, which is a polar opposite from who I used to be. And so I thought, oh my gosh, is this maybe something in the region of my brain? And a ChatGPT did say that it is that area. I'm not hungry and very often. So I do 3 square meals a day. I would say, what do you think the calorie per meal would be?
Less than what I'd like it to be.
I know. I know. Again, like I not only don't have hunger cues, I get full so fast because of the fat. Um, and so that's just kind of a little bit of a breakdown of what I do for meals. So maybe can you explain what you make in say 2 or 3 meals in a week?
What I make.
Because I don't.
Amanda, not only does she feel like she feels full more quickly, but she gets distracted very easily. And much to my, I don't know what the word would be right now, but chagrin, she is a lot of times adamant about being on her phone when she eats. And when she takes longer to eat her meals, she eats less. If she doesn't have her phone next to her and she's really focused, she eats in a normal time and she'll usually eat all the food. I say that because I know some of you might be going through treatment or some of you might be having something else going on, and it is really essential to keep your nutrient profiles up. One of my biggest stressors and concerns for this was when Amanda was going through treatment. The distractibility was getting her to undereat more than I think would have been acceptable. Now she had some reserves to lose, so that was okay. But if now it's going to become something she has to really be mindful of because she's going to start training for her event next year, and she's not going to be able to do the full 29 event or really any part of it, significant part of it, on the bare bones nutrition program she's on right now.
Yes. Can you explain to people kind of what the 3 meals look like?
3 meals. Look, pretty much I say, look, the last time we talked about it.
Well, I know, but people who are just turning in, like what?
Yeah, we do put an emphasis on certain vegetables. There are no, it's also anti-inflammatory, so we've taken all inflammatory things out. It's also, there's no dairy in it. And the reason being is there are some, in the early days, we were kind of piecing together things that we would see that people would talk about that work, different research articles, different things on nutrition, and what commonalities there were you would hear about inflammation in the body, trying to take that out, reducing whatever could be something that could trigger some sort of negative response to your body. So that was anti-inflammatory, that was dairy. We also removed any and all GMOs, regular foods. So 95% of what Amanda eats is organic. If she has any sort of animal protein, it's going to be grass-fed or one of those designations too on top of it. It is not a cheap way to eat we pay for it because we just basically stopped doing any other like miscellaneous things that we'd normally do, and most of our discretionary income now goes towards funding her nutrition program. What that looks like then on a typical day for her will be eggs for breakfast with she always has nuts with every single meal. It's going to be eggs with coconut oil. Usually we'll mix some greens in there. I have a suite of seasonings I use, all of which are organic and they've been researched for various anti-cancer properties. If I can, I'll sneak some flaxseed in there, but it's a one of those damned if you do, damned if you don't, because while it has really good anti-inflammatory things, she often will not eat as much of the eggs as she would if it's not on there. For lunch, it is usually some sort of leaner protein along with more nuts and some sort of veggie, either cauliflower, broccoli are the main ones. And then same goes for dinner too. Today she had chicken for lunch with some broccoli and sauerkraut, all of which was organic with olive oil. Dinner, she's going to probably have coconut, so non-dairy yogurt, simply because she has an evening appointment. We want to try to also shrink her eating window because there are some anecdotal reports out there talking about not having the system stressed when you go to bed, giving yourself plenty of time to digest, and usually, I don't know, not tomorrow, but when she has to get up earlier for appointments and stuff, she is not as prone to eat a full meal in the morning if she is eating later in the day.
Well, another thing that I stopped doing is drinking. I no longer drink.
Yep.
Not like that was ever a problem, but there was just absolutely no way I would drink with this cancer. No one told me I can't, but I just want to preserve my body and, have it as optimal as it can be. And so that is something that I do not do anymore.
And one thing that's really important too is that there is, and this was echoed in this recent summit we just attended on glioblastoma, and they were talking about various clinical trials and why does one work for some but not others. Nobody really knows why what works for some does not work for everybody. That's kind of the $2 billion question right now in terms of finding a cure or at least more consistent treatments. There are plenty of people out there who are doing what we want for Amanda, which is they're living multiple years, decades beyond their diagnosis. They're living full lives, and they will eat whatever they want. There are also many people out there who are doing what we want for Amanda, living multiple years, decades beyond their diagnosis, and they are on their own unique nutrition programs, their own unique supplementation programs. As Amanda said, nobody said you need to do this, you need to do that. It was choices that she made for herself that she felt good about, and she felt really empowered about it too.
Yeah.
And that's something I think that's really important to consider is she was not giving up the food she used to eat or the alcohol she used to drink out of this woe is me or something. It was something that at a time when it was really scary and she was hearing there's nothing you can do, it was something that she felt like she could do.
It's the only thing I could do.
Well, yeah, one of the only things. It was a huge major change for her and she's felt empowered by it. Many of you who have followed this along, you commented on her skin, her glow, all those things, and maybe that's some of the inflammation of her body, her blood work. We've talked about this before. Sometimes people say the ketogenic diet, so it could be bad for you. Her blood work has never looked better than it has before. All of her markers look fantastic. Her blood looks really great. So her body's responding well to what she's doing. And that's another thing that we've had as a benefit is we've been able to check her nutrition against regular blood work for the last year and change.
Mm-hmm.
That's what Amanda does. And she drinks plenty of water too. She takes several different supplements, which we can include in another video or just have a specific video on that. Again, there's no one size fits all yet. Hopefully one day there will be. If you are somebody who is just diagnosed with glioblastoma going through it or any sort of cancer, there are probably some meaningful nutritional changes you can make. Make sure that if you make them, you choose to make them, have it be an empowering choice. And again, do your research on what feels best aligned for you and what you want for your time now and your time going forward too. I cannot stress that enough. Amanda, when she made this decision, it was a very empowering decision for her. And I do in part believe part of what has been so helpful with her with her nutrition is because she made it from that state of mind.
Mm-hmm.
Anything else about this one? Okay, everybody, that's all for today. We love and appreciate you. Thanks so much for being here. If you need some recipes, let us know. We can send them over to you. Maybe we'll put a little,
or if you have any for us.
Amanda won't look at them, but I will. But maybe I'll put a little recipe book together for everybody if that's helpful for you. As always, we love and appreciate you, and we will see you next time. Bye bye.